Hi, this is Music Plus, and I'm Mark D. Kennedy. Coming to prominence in the 1990 hit cult movie The Commitments, Andrew Strong has continued to mesmerize audiences around the world with his own soulful brand of rock and roll and fantastic, powerful live performances. And he's back in Australia to mesmerize us once more. Andrew Strong, welcome to Music Plus.
Cheers, thanks for being here.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
You've come a long way since the launch of The Commitments 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Back then, did you ever envisage the album title Andrew Strong's Greatest Hits?
Yeah, it's quite bizarre actually when you think about it, but yeah, it's like I'm 32 and I've brought out a greatest hits album, and but there again, you know, I've been in the business since I was 16, so I've made you know, the 2 Commitments albums and 4 solo records, so I suppose, you know, there's a nice body of work there. So
When we'll talk more about the album, we'll come back to that a little bit later on. So I'm going to get straight to the juicy stuff now. When the movie launched you into international cult stardom, at the very tender age of 17 when the movie came out, did you find the pressure difficult to deal with?
not really, to be honest with you, because I was quite naive, you know. So, you know, when you're naive in these situations, you don't really kind of know. Well, half the time you don't really understand what's around you, you know. So you know, I was just really enjoying it and just kind of, you know, just having fun with it.
Not too much excess? Did you ever run off the rails?
Not necessarily, because, you know, I come from a musical background. You know, my father's in the business, and when I was younger, you know, I lived in like Kansas City, Missouri, and Las Vegas in the 70s, and I've seen my father, I've seen the ups and downs of his career and how that can affect the family and stuff. So, you know, I come from a pretty grounded background, so it kept me well grounded. So, but no, I don't think so, really, you know.
What happened in the aftermath of The Commitments? Because that was such huge success from nowhere to somewhere.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say you kind of vanished for a little while?
Well, over this side of the world, you know, there hasn't really been a lot kind of, you know, in terms of like going on really regarding Andrew Strong, because my last couple of albums were released just around Europe, and they weren't released here. So, but you know, I've been fairly consistent in Europe and stuff like that. So as I said, I brought out 4 solo records, and so I think it's just really a matter of, because some albums weren't released here. So
Why was it?
I think it was really, to be perfectly honest with you, I think it was, you know, the record, my label in Europe, they wanted the album kind of, you know, they wanted it publicized and brought out in a certain way over here. And the labels over here kind of thought, well, we don't kind of do it that way. And they thought, well, we're having a lot of success with it here in Europe when we do it this way, and we think it should be marketed this way, blah, blah, blah. So I think there was just a bit more conflict between the labels, really. And they just said, well, hey, you know, we just feel that it's, you know, it's either our way or the highway, you know.
That must be frustrating for an artist when you want to get that creativity out there and you've got all these business things coming in and interfering.
Well, this is it, you know, that's just the music business for you, and it'll never change, you know, unfortunately. You know, there's so many great artists out there who have been unheard of, and, you know, mainly down to these issues, you know. And it's like, if you look at a lot of great artists nowadays, if you look at initially when they got into the music business, they were rejected. But, you know, I think it's a matter of just being strong and believing in yourself and just keep pushing, you know. So
You got straight into the business straight from school. Did you even finish school?
no.
Where'd you get to? What happened? Just the movie came in and took over?
Yeah, well, in Ireland you do your first level education is primary school, then you do second level education, which is secondary school, and after the 3rd year, legally you can leave school. So I left after my 3rd year, and I was luckily enough to get the part in The Commitments. So, you know, my mum and dad said, well, hey, you know, if it doesn't work out, you can always go back and finish school. So, but fortunately enough for me, things worked out well for me. So, and I've just kind of kept plowing on, you know.
Do you remember what your report card said about you?
You know, okay, you know. Some of my reports were okay. Like, I wasn't really an Einstein by any means in school, you know. I was just a pretty average student. So.
You've never had another job, I guess, then?
No, besides working with my father, I used to go on the road with him and you know, be a roadie and stuff like that, set his equipment up and do sound and stuff like that. It's the only real gig I kind of had.
So some example, really, or some aspect, the movie was semi-autobiographical.
Well, I suppose, yeah, you could look at it that way, all right. Yeah, sure. You know, it was. I suppose, yeah, from that point of view, sure, yeah, yeah.
If you could have that time again, is there anything you'd do different?
No, not at all, not at all. You know, I'm very proud of what I did in the movie, and it's funny, you know, I was back in Ireland there about 2 weeks ago, and I went down to our local village and just went into the shops, and these kids saw me and they followed me into the shop, and like they were only like maybe, you know, 8, 9 years of age, and they're calling me like Deco, who was my character, and these kids weren't even born. So it's a real underground kind of cult thing. So, you know, I'm very proud of it, and at the end of the day, you know, I wouldn't change anything really.
You've done a lot in the past decade. You've toured the world with the Stones, Elton John, Prince, Bryan Adams, Lenny Kravitz, and the late great Ray Charles. That must have all been pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Great opportunity, you know, especially working with, playing with Ray Charles. That was just a dream come true, because to me, you know, he was the daddy of soul. Okay, you know, James Brown I think's great and stuff, but Ray Charles, his voice, man, it just was just incredible, and he was such a diverse artist as well. You know what I mean? He went from the funk, the country to, you know, he was a very diverse artist, and that's what I like about just about artists in general, who are not afraid to kind of go out and break boundaries and stuff like that. So, and then the Stones was just unbelievable. I did like 12 shows with them on the Voodoo Lounge tour, and it was just, what can I say, you know, it was just amazing. You know, we played all around Europe and stuff, and that and playing with Ray Charles have been definitely one of the highlights of my career for sure.
And there's a cover of a Stone song on the album.
Yeah, we do Out of Time. So, yeah.
What other musical influences did you have growing up?
Well, when I was younger, I was big into like Free and Sly and the Family Stone, Joe Cocker, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Steppenwolf. As I get older now, I kind of my music taste is kind of more diverse. It's more, you know, more into more contemporary stuff. Obviously, you know what I mean. I love some like Australian acts here. I like the band Jet. I think they're fantastic. Some older bands like the Baby Animals are great. Of course, AC/DC. You know, so you know, I'm into everything, man. You know what I mean? I'm a real lover of all types of music. You know, if you saw my record collection, it's very, very diverse. It can go from like, you know, total metal to right up to like, you know, like Johnny Cash. You know, so I'm just a lover of all types of music.
So that looks, when you're doing that, it looks like you actually still buy the CDs, do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Not downloading?
No, never ever download. You know, being an artist myself, I know what it's like, and I know how this downloading thing has really damaged, you know, basically artists' album sales. So, you know, I'm definitely the one where I go out and I buy, and I like to support the artist, you know.
Nevertheless, you're still very technological. In fact, you launched your website, andrewstrong.com, in January last year. How important is that a way of communicating directly with the fans?
Oh, well, it's extremely important, you know. They get to know what's going on in my career. They get to know where I am in the world, what tour dates I'm doing. They get to buy my albums. You know, some of my albums aren't released in certain countries, and they can buy them, you know, off my website. So it's very important. It just gives you the general information of Andrew Strong and what's been going on in his career.
I see you've got your own email listed on the site. Who really answers those?
Well, to be honest with you, actually, I try to answer as many as I can, but I have actually my mother. She's great at all that. She loves all that, and so you know. But I try to answer as many as I can, because it's important to me. Because you know, I feel you know, I'm very fortunate to be in the business. I'm very fortunate to be working at what I do, because I love it. And it's just, you know, it's good to give back a little bit to people who have just given me this great life I have. So
you've also got your younger sister Neve singing on track 7 on the album.
That's right.
And your mum is answering your emails. You were a roadie for your dad. Is the whole family musical, is it?
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, you know, we all love our music, and as I said, you know, I come from a big musical background, so yeah.
This is your 4th solo album. Was it fun putting it together? Because it's a great collection of songs.
Well, actually, no, this is actually my 5th album. I've made 4 solo records, and this is kind of everything what's been on those 4 albums, and also the Commitments. So I suppose you can say it's my 5th record. But yeah, it was a pretty tough album to put together because it's a lot of music to kind of go through and a lot of songs and stuff. So
It certainly is a great album. I've just been listening to it again this morning and I love it.
yeah.
Got to get you to sign it before this finishes,
no
okay?
problem. Yes.
Of the 4 new original songs on the album, 3 of them, This Life, Bitter Pill, and You've Been Here Before, are all co-written with the same team. How does your songwriting process work when you're working in collaboration with others?
Basically, what happens is I worked with 3 of the new original songs. I worked with an Australian producer-songwriting couple who live out in Los Angeles. They're called the Wizard of Oz. And basically, how I go about it is I have ideas, and I kind of have a pretty good idea what I want to talk about lyrically and stuff, and then I just bring it to the table and I play it, and the people who I'm co-writing with, they, put in their ideas, and we basically just create a nucleus, and we just kind of just form it that way, So
All 3 of those songs are really good numbers. They're very, very strong and really stand out on the album. Do you see more songwriting in your future?
yeah, absolutely. That's really my ultimate goal now for my next record is to bring out a complete original album. I'll probably do a couple of covers, you know what I mean, like maybe 3 or 4, but I'd like to bring out my next album and have the majority of originals, because I've been writing songs now for the past 15 years, and I feel that I'm finally kind of cracking the art of writing a song. So it's not easy writing songs. It's like what George Harrison said out of the Beatles, you gotta write at least 100 shitty songs before you write one decent song. So
Why do you think the Irish are so creative?
why are they so creative? I think it's probably because the country, it's quite a barren country. There was very little for people there. And we just tend to just go into our minds and be creative. And there wasn't a lot of distractions, really. When you think about it, like really when Ireland joined the EEC, we were a pretty barren country. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think we've got great writers. From Joyce and George Bernard Shaw, and and then obviously we've got U2, and we've got Van Morrison and all that. Yeah, I think it's mainly down to that, really. I just think we're a very proud nation as well, and less distractions really we've had over a period of, as I said, until we joined DC. If you go to Ireland nowadays, it's just a completely different country nowadays. Very, very international. Up to say 8-9 years ago, you'd never see like a black man walk down the street or anything like that. It was very, just
Insular.
yeah, very much so.
You've toured Australia before. What are your memories of the place?
Well, the last time I toured back here was in '93, and it was just fantastic. Just a great country. Very similar to the Irish in a lot of ways, the Aussies. They're very, they like to kick back and have a good time and stuff, and great lovers of music, and it's just great to be back here. I've always had fond memories, and I've got some great friends, and so I'm really looking forward to the tour.
Well, good luck on the tour, and let's kick back right now. Would you like a Guinness?
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
All right, Andrew Strong, all the best. Thanks for talking to me.
Cheers.
I'm Mark D. Kennedy, and this is Music Plus.
If you'd like more free information and entertainment podcasts, log on to www.freedigitalcontent.com. That's www.freedigitalcontent.com.
Do you want you're on or you're watching? You're on. Actually, I have a video cable link. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. What's the music plus? Hi, this is Andrew Strong, and you're on Music Plus.
one more time for me. Sorry, Andrew.
Hi, this is Andrew Strong. You're on Music Plus.
There you go. Beautiful. Start to you.
There you go, mate. Would you sign that for us? Just to, what are we going to call ourselves, Peter?